my mind just instantly knows what to do. I barely have to think about it. Like I just see a formation, I see the next piece, I'm like, okay, this is clearly where it's gonna go.
So why Tetris?
Since I was a kid, I've always kind of like puzzles and stuff like that. Like when I was little, I did like puzzles with my grandma. So I guess I've just always kind of enjoyed games like that. And then I mean, Tetris is kind of just like the ultimate puzzle game.
Were you immediately good at it, or did you feel like you had to get good at it?
No, I was really bad when I started. I started playing Tetris 99, which came out on the Switch, and it's basically like kind of like a battle royale where you're playing 99 other people, and you have to be like the last person standing. So you're just trying to survive. And I was really bad. I kept losing, and I was like, okay, I just want to get a win. I just want to beat the 99 other people. And so I just kept playing until I got a win. And then I was like, okay, maybe I'll just keep playing some more. So it just kept going from there.
Like when you say you played it a lot, like how many hours were you playing then? How many hours a day or a week or whatever are you playing now?
I mean, maybe like an hour or two a day. I would like stream my gameplay online. I would watch other people play it. So I would just be involved in, I guess, the community of the game. And I think that like being involved in it really helps you to learn because you're like watching other people talking about it and all this stuff kind of just like helps you like accumulate together, I guess, and skill or something like that.
How much of a difference is there between somebody who's good and somebody who's like worldwide good? No, I'm professional level good.
There's a huge difference because like the normal person, they might like, just set up for just Tetrises on the sides. They're just gonna stack very, very cleanly. They're not gonna do anything crazy. But maybe some higher level players have certain setups and patterns that they know that they'll purposely set up. It's gonna look like they're messing up, but they're doing something on purpose in order to score more points or to be more efficient. There's like a pretty big difference. Also, speed. Speed's a big one. You'll see the top level players go much faster than someone else.
I kind of understand what you mean by that in the sense that like for me when I play, I'm just trying to keep the whole thing clear as much as possible. But to be at the top level, I'm imagining like no, you've got specific kind of plays for lack of a better word to do.
There's things called like T spins you can do, which is where you use the T piece and you create a hole, and then you put the T piece in the hole and spin it, and it clears two lines, and that scores the same amount of points as a four line clear, a Tetris clear, just with the long piece. And you're trying to take the least amount of other clears as possible. You pretty much just want only Tetrises.
I don't even know actually what a Tetris is. I know it's the name of the game, but it's something in the game.
Yeah. There's a thing. It's called a Tetris. Is when so there's a long piece. It's four high. It's just a long straight piece,
Yeah.
and it's when you just put it down the side and clear four lines at once. That's called a Tetris.
Oh, I didn't know that that's what the game was
Yeah.
actually named after.
Yeah. I don't know if they named it that or if people just started calling it that, but that's what it is. When you clear a Tetris, you get a Tetris. It's when you clear four lines at once with a line piece. Yeah.
I just assumed it's what the game was called. Like, oh, I didn't think it was a thing within the game. So when you kind of look at it in a competitive standpoint, like what's your overall strategy?
So going into the game a little bit, you progress through the levels, and as you get higher into the levels, the speed's going to increase, right? It's going to get harder to play. The points are going to go up. And when you get to level 29, which is often called the kill screen, the speed ramps up a lot. At level 29, the speed doubles from the previous speed, and it's called a kill screen because that's where the developers intended you to lose. They're like, okay, people are going to lose at level 29. But nowadays people can play past level 29 and score more points on the kill screen with new techniques that have been found. So the technique used to be score as many Tetris as possible to level 29, because level 29 is where people used to die. So just be as efficient as possible until then. But now people have figured out how to play on level 29. So now you can play a bit safer on level 29. You still want to get Tetrises, but it's difficult. It's more difficult because it's faster. So you maybe want to play a little bit safer than you previously had. So people don't just go for all Tetrises like they did on some of the levels before.
So can you go past level 29 or you just play 29 until it's over?
Yeah, level 29 is where the speed caps out. So that's where the speed hits its max. So if you can make it to level 29, you could theoretically keep playing forever if you're good enough on that speed. But people got so good at that in competition, we decided to call level 39 the endpoint. So in competition, if you get to level 39, that's where we're going to end it. Because otherwise, it would just take too long because people can just play for a long time.
So what's the longest like you've ever been able to play?
For normal play, like outside of competition, I've had a game go up to, I got a personal best last week. It went up to level 118, I think. That took probably like 30 minutes or so of just of gameplay. So yeah, it can go a lot longer than that though.
Man, I was playing like Super Mario Wonder yesterday and my hands were just sweating. Like, how do you not just slip off the controller, man?
Bro, it's tough, bro. Like my hands be sweating too, bro. Like you just gotta do it a lot. Like you learn to, okay, my hand's sweaty. Okay, I got a line clear. Okay, go for the hand wipe. Okay, I gotta calm my breathing. Don't be too excited. You've been here before. There's a lot of things like that. It's nerve wracking, believe me.
Is that like the biggest problem in the pro Tetris community is hand sweat?
I mean, nerves and hand sweat. That's massive. I mean, in any competition, in anything, there's gonna be nerves. There's gonna be factors like that. I'd say that's a pretty big factor for sure.
How many people are like at a high competitive level at this? Like, how competitive is this?
I would say that there's about, I don't know, 100 or 200 people who are have gotten over. Okay, wait. So there's actually in the history of the game, there's about 500 people who have gotten 1,000,000 points. The game on the classic NES, the score caps out at 999,999, just like six nines. It's gonna cap out at that. So about 500 people have gotten 1,000,000 points. So if you can get 1,000,000 points, you're usually, I would say you could call yourself a pretty good player. And then as for high competition level, there's a world championship where 48 people qualify into the world championship. So I'd say those top 48, if you're playing in the world championship, you could call yourself like a pretty high tier player for sure.
What's the best you've ever done?
I played in the world championship for the past 4 years, and the best one I did was last year. I got 14th place in the world championship.
So what are they doing then that's different than what you're doing? Like, can you look at their game and be like, okay, this is why they're better than me, or they beat me in this circumstance?
They're able to control their nerves better. Maybe they know how to stack better. They know how to uh, do something called rolling. I mean, I could go into what rolling is now. That's just the technique that people use to play. It's called rolling. So basically, right, we have just a normal controller, right? You've probably seen it.
Yeah,
Normally you just like, right, you just like do this with the controller,
right.
but this was too slow. So basically, when you hold, people used to hold down the left and right, and that moves the pieces 10 times a second. And this is when people would die at level 29. Because if you're moving the pieces 10 times a second, it's too slow to play past level 29. And so people are like, okay, wait, what if I can tap faster than 10 times a second? So people started tapping at like 13, 14 times a second. And they're like, okay, this is better than DAS, which is what holding down. It's
Oh,
called
okay,
DAS,
okay.
delayed auto shift. It's like where that's what people used to use. Yeah, and then we moved into hyper tapping, we call it, where you basically just tense up your arm and just make your finger move really fast. But even that was slow. And then someone came up with a technique that's better than that, where instead of just tapping with one finger, you would rest a finger on the D-pad. You'd rest a finger on the D-pad, and then you hit the back of the controller. So it pushes into my thumb. You see how it's getting pushed into my thumb? So if you go really fast, it can press into your thumb at like 30 times a second, which is twice as fast as just tapping with one finger. So this technique is what all the top players use. If you watch any Tetris competition, you're gonna see people doing this. It's what all the top level players do now.
How did somebody figure that out? That's just trial and error. Eventually, like,
Yeah, so back someone named Cheese Fish, that's their that's their gamer tag. They came up with that technique They looked at this old arcade game called Track and Field, where there was a lot of buttons like on an arcade game you could hit,
I remember
and
that
they saw
game
people
actually.
like using their fingers like this on the buttons, and he was like, okay, but what if I do that with a controller? And so he came up with that idea, and this was in early 2021 when this came out, so about 3 years ago. That technique was discovered, and then just people started getting good at it, and that's what's allowed people to play super far into the game now. It's crazy.
Do you think that there's anything else that's going to kind of like revolutionize it like that?
The speed, the fastest speed you can move. So the game, getting a bit technical, the game is 60 frames per second, and the fastest you can move a piece is 30 times a second because there's a delay between pressing and unpressing. So that's 2 frames right there to press and unpress. So the max speed you can go is 30 times a second. So we can already hit the max speed, but I'm thinking something to improve it would maybe be some way to get it more consistent because right now, I mean, there's a lot of factors like when you have your thumb just on it and like your thumb can get sweaty, your fingers can slip, something like that. I mean, the only thing I can think of is just getting a more consistent method, but we've already hit the max speed you could theoretically go.
So, are you ready for some harder slash listener submitted questions?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
What is your favorite block? What is your least favorite block?
Okay, favorite block. I mean, this might be generic. The T piece, I like it because people might think, oh, okay, the T piece. It's like whatever. It's like the face of Tetris or the long bar. But the T piece I like because there's a lot. If you get down to like a lot of theory or like stuff in the game, the T piece forms a lot of patterns and a lot of situations in the game. Like if you burn if sorry, a burn is where you clear a line without a Tetris. I'm just if you take a line clear with the T piece, it can make the board change into a certain state. There's just a lot of different, I guess, combinations and things to use with the T. Um, Least favorite, I mean, probably the Z piece. It's just a very jagged piece. I mean, everyone probably hates it, but especially in NES Tetris, it takes 5 movements to get to the left side, and it forms a jagged left side when it goes there. So it's just not a very good piece to have.
What is there a piece that's like untapped potential?
I think most pieces are like people use the pieces in pretty good ways. There's a lot of adjustments. I'd say adjustments are the biggest untapped potential thing. So normally when you play Tetris, you have your current piece that's falling right, and then it tells you what piece is coming next, right? Um, and you can do something called an adjustment where you move the current piece to make space for the next piece, and that takes like reaction time or like planning. So that's probably the biggest potential because it takes a lot of thinking. You got to think on the fly. Okay, and they're like, okay, if I have my current piece falling and I move it here, this next piece can go here, or if I move this piece here, this one can go there. So that's probably the biggest like skill is just being able to do that like on the fly.
How good are you at moving? Does this skill translate into everyday life in any way?
Yeah, this is the question. This is a question people always ask. I mean, I was moving out of my dorm actually the other day. I thought I did a pretty good job. Like,
I feel like you should be able to pack a U-Haul like nobody's business.
yeah, for sure. I mean, just yeah, call me. I'll charge you a lot, but it'll be a really good job.
It'll be done perfectly.
Yeah.
What is your favorite variant of Tetris? What's your least favorite?
Well, favorite is the classic Tetris, the original. Like they got it right on the very first one. Okay, there doesn't need to be any other Tetris. Least favorites. There's a lot of favorites. There's a lot of variants. There's this one called Hatris. Actually, no. Maybe I Hatris. Hatris is the worst one because it's a Tetris game where it gives you the piece that you need the least. So if you need if you don't need a Z piece, it's just gonna keep giving you like Z pieces.
That's fun. What's kind of the holy grail? Is there a holy grail of this left? Like no one has been able to accomplish this. And
Yeah, 100%. Right now, there's something called Rebirth where you go so far into the game, you get through all the levels, it goes all the way back down to zero. You go through every single level, you get to level 255, and since the bit stores up to 256 levels, if you get up to 255 levels, it warps back down to 0. So that's the thing that people are chasing right now. There was a video made recently on a player who got a bunch of world records and is chasing that right now. So yeah, it's honest. That's like a really huge topic in the Tetris community right now. This guy named Alex T, he's going for the rebirth, and there's been thousands of people watching him live, like thousands on Twitch. There was like 3,000 people on watching him on YouTube the other day. It's definitely a huge hot topic right now.
Is there like a country or a state in the United States that like they are the dominant at Tetris? Tetris is biggest in these areas.
Yeah, so for country, definitely the United States because we play the NTSC, which was released in America and Japan. So we play that version. So obviously America's played more here. And as for state, it used to be California, but then it actually switched to Texas in the past couple of years. The world champion, the two-time world champion lives here. A world champion last year used to live here. I live in Texas. There's definitely a lot of really high level players in Texas.
Okay, so we're watching you play. Holy crap, man. You really do go. You really do go fast.
This is the slow speed, bro. This is not even fast. This is the slowest speed. Not the slowest speed, but the slowest speed that I start on.
That's slow?
Yeah, no, this is pretty slow. Yeah, I mean, not much stroke. I'm looking at chat. I'm talking to people. It's pretty chill.
When you do this though, are you actively like thinking about it, or this is all just reflex right here?
I mean, honestly, I've played so much that my mind just instantly knows what to do. I barely have to think about it. Like I just see a formation, I see the next piece. I'm like, okay, this is clearly where it's gonna go. Sometimes I have to think a little bit more if I'm doing like an adjustment or something crazy, but just for casual play like this, I mean, I'm not really thinking that much.
For me, like seeing it, I literally can't even see the piece and think of where it would go before you've already placed it.
Yeah, I mean that's the biggest thing. I mean, just building up that intuition, making formations that are conducive to pieces. You know, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it.
I see what you mean. What did you call? What is that technique? The technique called that you're using?
It's called rolling.
But is it overly like? Is it pretty specific, or is it like you hit it and it just goes shooting off? Like, how do you control it when you're hitting it that fast?
So yes, so the piece I move it however many spaces I want, depending on how many fingers I use. If I want to move it 2 spaces over, I'll just use 2 fingers to hit. If I want to move it 3 spaces over, I use 3 fingers, and so on. And thankfully, the max amount of distance you need to move a piece is 5 spaces. So we have 5 fingers, so we can use all 5 fingers to move it all the way to the left side. It takes 5 hits, and all the way to the right side, the max it takes is 4 hits.
Okay, I'm gonna jump forward.
This is when it gets a little faster. This is the transition. When you hit level 19, this is when the speed goes up more. So this is just the second speed. It starts off at 18, then it goes to 19, and then you get to 29. It'll get even faster than this.
I just can't even follow. Like, by the time that I recognize what the piece even is, you've already placed it. So are you watching what's next, or are you watching the piece that's actually coming out? Like, where are you looking?
Basically, I'm just looking in the middle of my screen and I'm looking at the next piece out of the corner of my eye. So I'm just using the shape and the color to kind of tell me what the next piece is. And I'm basically just looking in the middle of my screen, kind of at the top of where the stack is. I'm not looking like at the bottom or in the middle. I'm just kind of looking at where most of the stack, where all the blocks are kind of are.
Dude, how do your eyes feel? Don't your I would feel like my eyes would start to like burn. Do you have time to blink?
This is not fast. When you get to level 29, that is when you'll see people not blink for like a minute or two straight sometimes. I mean, it can get intense on the level 29 speed.
Do you make it to level 29 on this one?
So this is the title back-to-back max outs. I'm getting 1,000,000 points twice in a row, back-to-back on the fastest speed here.
You gotta be kidding me.
Uh, yeah, bro. This is the fastest speed right here. This is where things get crazy.
Okay, is it going down that fast, or are you making it go down that fast?
No, it goes down this fast. I'm not doing anything. It's just this is how fast it falls.
That's how fast it goes. And somebody can get to level 254 with this?
Yeah, bro. People can go like if you're able to master this, it stays this speed. So all you have to do is just you just gotta be able to master it. If you can get good at the fast speed, then that's all you need.
This is something that fascinates me about life in the sense that, like, okay, maybe you're not going to be the wealthiest man in the world or be a professional athlete, but you never know if you might be the best person in the world at Tetris. Like, you never know what secret hidden talents somebody might have. Are are you good at other video games?
I'm pretty decent at shooters. I've played those for a while, like CS:GO, Valorant. I'm pretty good at that. But puzzle games, I would say, are definitely my strong suit.
Can you just what am I like what am I doing wrong with my strategy here?
Um,
Am I
I mean,
or like this is a good strategy? Like where do I what am
ooh,
I doing right?
okay.
What am I doing wrong?
Well, that was bad because you put the line piece all the way to the left when you should have put it in the middle. You don't want dependencies. You don't want places where you need a certain piece. You want your board to be flat. Your board is very disconnected right now. You have two columns or two wells. You have one in the middle. Okay, there you go. Made it more connected. See, now the stack is all connected, and you only have a hole on the right side, which is what you want.
Connected in
Um,
the sense that like, oh, you want to be able
you,
to
you,
just drop
yeah,
the
you don't want
four
to put it there.
piece.
You should put that one to the left.
I should have
But
put
that's
that.
good. Yeah, because now you have a hole on the right side where only two pieces can fit there. And that as well, that move, that made a two wide gap. There's only three pieces that can fit in a two wide gap clean there. So
Oh, I trapped myself.
yeah, so now okay, that's a good piece for that. See, but you like needed a piece like that. You basically want to make your stack as flat as possible so any piece could fit cleanly without making holes.
So is that a good place for that?
No, 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 because that'll make a hole. You should put it all the way. Yeah, that's good.
That's better.
Yeah, you don't want to make any holes in the board, and that's good. Yeah. So yeah, you just want to try
Oh,
and
now
keep
I've
your
screwed
board.
myself.
No, you're good. You can put it there,
That's
and you can
I
put
should
that
put this
there.
here.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. That's good.
This is actually
Nice.
really interesting to me. Like, it's like, oh no, this is what you should actually. I guess I've never really thought about like a strategy for Tetris.
I mean, a lot of this stuff it kind of just comes with playing. You don't need to like think about it a lot or do all these things. You can honestly just play for a while, and you'll pick it up on your own.
Okay, but what do I do here?
This piece, this is pretty tricky. I would
Oh
say just put
no,
it all the way to the right. Just put it all the way to the right.
over like that?
Double flip it.
Double.
Flip it twice and put it all the way.
No, was that
That's
right?
fine. That's fine. That's fine.
How about
That's
this?
good there. Yeah, nice, nice. You could put this one to the left. No, uh,
There,
two over, two over.
there.
One more, one more. There you go. Yeah, that's good. Um, and you can put that right there. Yeah, nice. And put that to the left of it.
Oh, now I'm panicking.
No, just stand it up to the left of the line piece. Keep going left. Right
There.
there. Yeah, you're good. Yeah, you're good. Yeah. And then here you can just open that up again. There you go.
Oh, so you're trying not to trap yourself, right?
Yeah, so you see right now this board is pretty nice. I mean, you have a dependency on the left side, but that can be resolved with this next piece that's coming up.
Yeah, when you're talking about like, oh no.
Put that all the way to the left and you're good. Yeah. There you go.
Okay, so where
This is what
like
I'd call a good stack.
that's looking good because oh I see because I can just so all right on this grid like when the Tetris piece starts getting how far up like in here like when do
Yeah.
you start to get nervous like oh man I'm running out.
Yeah, definitely when it gets to like above halfway up the board is when you start to sweat a little. That's when you're like, okay, let's bring it down a little. This is too fast. It's not that it's too fast for your brain, it's just that the execution um time is just less. A lot of factors like you have to play fast, you have to be very exact with your placements. You just want to try and keep it as clean and not as high as possible.
So if that's when it's kind of halfway filled up when for you is it like oh it's over I'm just trying to hold on like I can't save this the end is coming.
Well, for me personally, it's never over until it says try again. There's always a way out if you can figure it out or if you're fast enough. There's a term actually. I got I got so good at surviving situations that so a dig is when you uh clear lines, like you survive. You do a dig, like you clear lines, you survive. There's a thing called a Miles dig, which is where you do a very high up extreme dig and you survive it. And that was just coined after me because I used to be really good. I still am really good at surviving those high up situations.
That, hey man, if nothing else, you have a terminology named after you in Tetris.
Yeah, yeah. Uh,
So that's pretty much all the questions I got. Is there anything that you think we missed, or how can people kind of follow you, learn more about Tetris, that kind of stuff?
yeah, I stream Tetris live on Twitch. Myles the Great is my link there. Also YouTube. I'm on TikTok as well, Myles TG. And you can watch people chase for rebirth and chase for high scores all on Twitch and YouTube. And of course, the World Championship is in 1 month. If you want to watch the World Championship, it's happening in a month. So it's happening in California. You can see it all on Classic Tetris.
Can anybody make a living off this?
A living? I mean, right now, probably not, but maybe in the future. The only person that really made a living was Jonas Neubauer. He was a 7 time world champion. He streamed on Twitch for his job, but he was the 7 time world champion. So you have to be that good to make it your job.